Welcome back. Good job on the test. Now, earlier, we spoke about the difference between selling and closing. It is my belief that selling ends and closing begins when a customer says no. You've tried your best to sell them, but they're not buying. So if you can get them to buy after they said no, then you closed the deal. That is what a closer does. A closer gets people to say yes and move forward after they've said no. If you followed all of the steps and asked for the sale and the customer says yes, then you sold them. But if they say no, or at some point in time didn't want to move forward, then it's time to close the deal. No is when you start to close. Getting the customer from a no to a yes is fairly simple if you know what you're doing. Closing is like a dance of its own. Just learn the steps, get them down, and master them. It's not difficult unless you make it difficult. Keep it simple. Let's just understand each step, what the core reason for doing each one is, and then practice them. Now, listen to this. If you don't do it, you're going to have no excuses. It's 1,000% up to you. Once you understand that anything with steps can be mastered by you or anyone else, you actually become better automatically, just for knowing that. So technically, you're better already because you're aware of it. So if you would just take the time to understand and master each step, you'll continue to be better and better. I mean, don't you think that is freaking cool? The steps used to close or influence people are just the certain things that you need to do and learn in order to get the job done. Just like a dance. Once you know the dance moves, you can practice, and then you can get good. Okay, the bottom line, closing is no different. As soon as you know the moves, you can get good at them and become really good at closing deals. Influencing people is simply getting them to see what you want them to see, think what you want them to think, and do what you want them to do. Enthusiasm is important here. The more enthusiastic you are, the better. Enthusiasm sells, but you know what sells even more than enthusiasm? Stories. Stories sell like nothing else. If you can incorporate stories into your demo or presentation where somebody had a great experience or outcome from buying your product or service, then that's even better. But if you can tell stories with enthusiasm, that's the best. So let's take a look at what's happening. It seems complicated, but it's really not. It's incredibly simple if you take the time to break it down and analyze what's really happening. Closing is a mind game. You're wanting them to do something or buy something, correct? They don't want to. So the first step to closing is finding out why. It's that simple. You just got to find out why they are deciding not to move forward or buy into your deal. The best way to do this usually is just ask. Hey, let me ask you something. What's stopping you from moving forward? The problem is people lie. I know. It's hard to believe, but it's true. People lie. And they make it very difficult for you to find out the real reason they don't want to move forward. So they lie, or they only tell you one reason when there may be several. And to close someone, it's imperative to find out the real reasons they're saying no. Not 1 out of 4 reasons, but all of them. If you can just understand the simplicity of what I'm saying, things will be so easy for you. You want a customer to do something, they don't want to do it. You need to find out why. They don't really want to tell you though. So you just need to get good at probing and finding the real reasons, because you have to have them. Does that sound about right? Well, it is, but the first thing you need to believe is that people lie. See, some people don't want to just face that. They put up smoke screens and they flat out lie. If you had a hard time believing this as a fact, then you're going to have a much harder time trying to master the art of closing. Because I'm sure you've heard the saying, buyers are liars. Well, this is where it came from. Yes, buyers are liars. As buyers, we put up defenses and we tell lies to mask the real reasons we don't want to buy things. Mainly we do this because we hate confrontation and we hate to be pressured, but we also hate to feel bad. So We tell lies and partial truths because we don't want to divulge too much information and get caught or stuck in a confrontational situation. Plus, people usually feel like they're in a game and the salesperson's the opponent, not a friend or a teammate. So it's our fault for them feeling that way, for not executing all of the steps correctly. We failed to make them feel comfortable and open up to us. Now, they're lying and shutting down and throwing up a bunch of smoke screens. And that's what happens. We all lie, misdirect, and put up a bunch of excuses and obstacles to keep you people from closing us. Think about it. I've done it and so have you. I was looking at a jacket once and the salesperson came up, introduced himself, started schmoozing me, and then told me to put on this jacket. Yeah, looks great. So then I noticed the price tag and it was $4,500. Now, I wasn't going to tell him that I couldn't afford it. But that's what the problem was. When he asked for the sale, I said I wanted to get my wife's opinion and that she was shopping in the mall. So I'd go get her. And then he, of course, said, okay, and just believed me. I never went back. My wife wasn't even in the mall. I lied to get out of there. We've all done it. The bottom line is we lie. We lie and we throw out defense mechanisms so we don't feel threatened or confronted. Or even worse, we don't feel like we got closed, because nobody likes to get closed. So the question is, how do we get past the lies and the smoke screens? How do we get to the truth, and what do we do once we find it? Well, that's what this masterclass is for. I'm going to teach you what to do, and it's up to you to practice it and become really good at it, okay? Because you need to be good at each and every step, like I've become. It takes time and it takes practice, just like any other skill or sport that you would play and get good at. It's not a talent that you either have or you don't have. It's a skill that just needs to be learned and developed.